Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another Exhumed movie review. Today we're going to be talking about cat people. Really quick though, before I get into that, I want to say thank you to my creepy patron peeps for your support of my channel. Thank you so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. Irena Dubrovna, a beautiful and mysterious Serbian-born fashion artist living in New York City, falls in love with and marries average Joe American Oliver Reed. Her marriage suffers though, as Irena believes that she suffers from an ancient curse whenever emotionally aroused, and she will turn into a panther and kill. Oliver thinks that this is absurd and childish, so he sends her to a psychiatrist, Dr. Judd, to cure her. So what I really liked about the movie, I really liked the atmosphere of the movie. There's just something about it that, like, I don't know, just like the build-up and the tension in the movie, and the fact that, spoiler alert, you don't really see anybody turn into a panther. It really, like, and the fact that they really hold that off for as long as possible. It just gives you the feeling that something in the movie is just lying dormant and you're just waiting for it to pounce or to emerge, which relates to Irena's character, obviously, because, you know, there's something within her that is lying dormant and just waiting to emerge and come to the surface. And I feel like the atmosphere of the movie really mirrors that, actually. So you see it like within the movie and within Irena's character. And like I just said, I really like the suspense of actually never clearly seeing Irena as a panther. You know, there are a few moments where you see flashes of her like attacking somebody as the panther. Like that they hold that off. Again, they hold that off for as long as possible and they barely show it. I also really liked the parallel. I'm gonna spoil everything about this movie, I'm sorry. I also really liked the parallel between Irena's death and her releasing the panther. So part of the tension in the movie is that Irena keeps visiting the zoo, and she keeps visiting the panther in the zoo, and it's always like pacing and, you know, hissing and growling and everything like that. And there's a couple of moments of temptation where the zoo like caretaker keeps leaving his key in the cage, like in the cage door of the panthers. You know, there's one moment where she very responsibly, you know, takes the key out of the lock and gives it back to the man, but there's always this tension, like it keeps happening, and there's always this tension, like it would just be so easy for her to turn that key and release the panther. And that's, you know, it really parallels her struggle as well. Like there, like while there is a part of her that wants to be responsible and and not give into temptation and not become an animal, there is that other part of her that, you know, it's like the call of the void, you know, that wants to turn that key, that wants to open that door and wants to release that side of herself, which I found really interesting. And of course, like I could even talk even more about how that relates to her sexuality, because that's very much a part of what turns her into a panther in the first place. In the movie, they say it as like, you know, if you kiss somebody you love, which, you know, I feel like is kind of a nice way of saying when she's sexually aroused. Which I think is a little bit more accurate given she turns into a big cat. There's something very, you know, like sleek and, you know, especially related to like humans, something very sexual about it. You know, releasing an animal, you know what I mean? That animalistic side of yourself. So I could even talk more about that. There's so much within that movie that, you know, speaks to that aspect as well, which I really like. At that point in the movie, when she does finally release the panther, she's been stabbed by Dr. Judd, who she does kill, not before he stabs her with his sword that's hidden in his cane. But she, you know, she's able to make it to the zoo, and she does release the panther almost immediately after. You know, when the panther runs by her, she, you know, she falls down and eventually does die, and the panther is hit by a car. So I like how that, you know, that the real life panther also, you know, mimics her in that way, parallels her in that way. You know, she released that animalistic side of herself and it got her killed, and, you know, then she released the panther and it was killed. So it's almost like the lesson at the end of the movie. Like if you release that part of yourself and let that part of yourself take over, bad things are gonna happen. Which maybe is a little conservative. I don't know what maybe trying to say about, you know, your sexual desires or something. No, and again, there's just so much I could talk about, like the parallel between Irena and the Panther. She's very exotic. She's from a different country. She's very exotic, like, you know, like a panther, like a big cat, like, and Oliver is drawn to that in the same way that Irena is drawn to going to visit the panther in the zoo over and over again. You know, there's something about both Irena and the panther that is beautiful and yet dangerous. And that's what draws Irena to the panther. That's what draws Oliver to Irena. She's beautiful, and yet, you know, there's something kind of mysterious and dangerous about her also, though, which is very alluring. That being said, the only thing I really disliked about the movie was that, you know, Irena's primary driving force with her, you know, I feel like the movie made this kind of like the driving force with her like struggle with releasing her animalistic side or not is jealousy, because Oliver has a female coworker, Alice, who she does reveal, I really am spoiling everything about the movie, who she reveals to Oliver that she's been in love with him forever or whatever. And you know, they're very close anyway, so they spend a lot of time together, which makes Irena jealous, probably because also she can't really give into temptation with Oliver because it'll turn her into a panther, which drives Oliver away. And yeah, so I just, you know, I know this movie came out in 1942 and it's like the time it was released, blah, 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 blah. You know, it makes sense for the time period that it came out in, but it's very tired. Like, okay, you know, we're not all driven by like jealousy, okay? You know, it's just something I'm tired of seeing. But I understand for the time that it was made, it makes sense. Was Cat People worth watching? Yes. I really, really liked it. Again, I could talk endlessly about this. I should maybe I'll eventually write something on my blog or something, because I feel like I just want to like analyze and talk about it. It's really cool. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I loved it. On IMDb, it has a 7.4 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 93% critic score and a 73% audience score, and Roger Ebert gives it a 4 out of 4. I know. I was able to watch Cat People on Amazon, so I'll leave a link in the description to watch it. There's no pressure to use that link, but if you do, it does help out the channel. If you've seen Cat People, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it, and let me know what you thought about the 1980s version as well, the remake, in the comments also. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye!